It has become a meeting place for the wealthy and elite as well as the average American or international traveler. Under the starry night, the Reed House Hotel glows like a beacon. It invites all who wish to waltz through its doors and discover what Chattanooga was like in the Gilded Age. In the famous Porterhouse restaurant, silver sconces are hung on the walls and elaborate meals are prepared. While the Reed House may be picturesque and charming, it has an ugly past that spans over 160 years. It is no surprise that the haunted hotel bears as much evidence as it does scars and the spirits accompanying them. There used to be a different hotel here at 827 Broad Street before the Reed House even existed, the old Crutchfield House. It was the Crutchfield family who built the inn in the mid-1800s, across from the newly built railway station. Chattanooga did not have a train station until the late 1840s, when interest in railroads spiked in Tennessee around the year 1827. Several neighboring states encouraged Tennesseans to build their own railroads so that their own trains could traverse the scenic mountains. There were already plans for the Georgia Western and Atlantic Railroad to reach the Tennessee River. Chattanooga's railroad station increased traffic as well as revenue through imports and exports. An industrial revolution was in full swing by 1850 in Chattanooga. Chattanooga hosted the launch of the Nashville and Chattanooga Railroad in 1854. In the following years, other branches were added. By 1857, the Memphis and Chattanooga line was also running regularly through the self-proclaimed River City. Chattanooga's Crutchfield family took advantage of opportunities for financial success. As the railways were the main source of business and imports at this time, the Crutchfield struck gold when they built a hotel directly across from this newly constructed railroad. As the Civil War unfolded, the old Crutchfield house endured its first onslaught of drama. The drama began with Jefferson Davis. At the time Davis stepped down from the U.S. Senate, the Civil War was on the verge of exploding. He'd been recruited for the Confederacy. A stop at the old Crutchfield house was convenient for him as he made his way home to Mississippi. Davis may have discussed the merits of secession at the dinner table or while drinking brandy, but he nonetheless spewed off about it regardless. For the Crutchfield brothers, this was a very sore topic. Unlike his brother Thomas, William Crutchfield was firmly committed to the Union. In response to Davis's speech, William turned around and pointed an accusing finger at the prospective Confederate leader. His descriptions of Davis included the terms traitor and military despot. Furious, Davis demanded satisfaction in the form of a duel. The only reason William or Jefferson Davis didn't die that day may be due to Thomas Crutchfield. After snagging his enraged brother by the arm, Thomas pulled him out of the room. William's temper cooled, but their dispute only highlighted the differences within Tennessee. Brother pitted against brother. Father against son. It is generally believed that William Crutchfield never actually enlisted in the battle, but served as an honorary Union captain on both the Chickamauga and Chattanooga campaigns. In a book written by Elizabeth Lyle Saxon, a cousin of the Crutchfield family, we learn more about the tension between the Crutchfield brothers. An excerpt from Saxon's book, published in 1905, states, Will Crutchfield, to whom I have been referred, was then a major on the Union General Wilder's staff, and 24 of his blood relatives were swept into the gray-clad ranks of the Confederacy, to die. After the first day, he was taken ill and did not take part in the hostilities. But, more interestingly, the passage states, years after he learned that his wife, whose sympathies were as strong for the South as his were for the Union, had drugged him heavily, and so prevented him from taking further part in the fratricidal strife. Despite William's near irrecoverable violence against his brother, the old Crutchfield house was sold shortly before the Civil War started, probably as a result of an argument between him, his brother, and Jefferson Davis. Despite the property owner's best efforts, financial prosperity did not come to the hotel. The property was, in fact, turned into a Union Army hospital during the Civil War. The old Crutchfield house served only Union troops during the war between the states. This may be one of the reasons why the Reed House Hotel remains haunted today. A fire destroyed the inn in 1867, resulting in its demolition. There were no plans to rebuild by the owners. As a result, the property had to be passed on to new owners. It took Chattanooga until 1871 to finally recover from its Civil War losses. At the same time, Dr. John T. Reed decided to transform the rubble of the old Crutchfield House into something useful. In an effort to build Chattanooga's finest hotel, the Reeds enlisted the aid of their son, Samuel. Their efforts were mostly successful. As time passed, the Reed House Hotel became synonymous with luxury and opulence. In 1872, it was officially opened on New Year's Day, to the excitement of local residents. Among the hotel's features were marble terrazzo floors, quarter-sawn walnut columns, carved and gilded woodwork, and large mirrors recessed in massive arches. It was only a few years after the Reed House celebrated its grand opening that Chattanooga was devastated by the flood. According to the Nashville Union and American, the water reached 2 feet deep in the post office and 4 feet in some areas of Market Street. A strong current of water is running through the Reed House Hotel. Towards the end of the 20th century, the hotel had seen better days. It desperately needed restoration and refurbishment. The Reed House Hotel in Newport Beach, California, was demolished by Holabird and Roche Architects instead of being renovated. From there, they sketched designs for a hotel that would compete with similar ones from the early 20th century. Eventually, the hotel was built in the Georgian style, with 10 floors. A lot of the fine details from the first Red House Hotel were incorporated into the updated hotel. There were, however, some pieces that were unfortunate victims of time and were never replaced, such as the massive mahogany bar. In spite of this, one artifact managed to escape the garbage bin's trap. During the remodeling of the Silver Ballroom on the 2nd floor, the contractors discovered a pair of sconces. A decision was made almost immediately to toss it. The sconces were made of wrought iron, and the Silver Ballroom, as its name suggests, was intended to have a silver interior. Howard Johnson, the bellman, saved the sconce. After working at the hotel for 27 years, Johnson said, "Please, don't throw away the sconces. Give them a thorough polish." They weren't made of wrought iron at all. After thorough polishing, the pair was revealed to be solid silver. Today, they can still be found in the ballroom. There's a higher chance of finding ghosts on the 3rd floor. Historic hotels are not complete without ghosts, that's a fact. Its haunted legacy makes the Reed House Hotel one of the most intriguing hotels in the region. Most guests who stay at this Chattanooga hotel report the same sorts of paranormal activity, odd sounds at night, and shadowy figures out of the corner of their eyes. A spine-tingling experience, however, awakens others. A guest staying at the Reed House stated that he had experienced an odd event in his room during the night. Even though nobody was in the room, the toilet gurgled and sounded like it was flushing. As a joke, I said, "It must be the ghost." Maybe it was a joke, but it's highly likely that's exactly how this poor guest awoke. Similar supernatural activity has been reported by other guests, as well as ghostly soldiers roaming the hotel's 4th floor. These shadowy spirits may be none other than the ghosts of soldiers who may have spent their last moments in the Reed House during the Civil War. One particular room in this historic hotel strikes fear in many, room 311. As reported in the Tennessean in 2004, guests at the Reed House Hotel swear they have felt or seen her presence. Some guests have complained to the desk late at night that they cannot fall asleep because of a strange feeling in room 311. But who is the Tennessean referring to? Room 311 of the Reed House is said to be haunted by the ghost of Annalisa Netherly. Local lore holds that Annalisa was brought to the hotel first by her lover in the 1920s, when she was still alive. According to some, Annalisa was a prostitute, and she quickly fell in love with another man, sometimes even presenting her new love to her previous suitor. One day, staff found Annalisa's body in the bathtub, her throat slashed open and her head nearly severed from her body. This could only have been a horrific experience for them. There may have been some form of revenge or jealousy behind the murder. Some, however, disagree and believe that Annalisa and her gentleman suitor were staying at the Reed House Hotel. Initially, they were happy, until her suitor abandoned her at the hotel and turned to other women. According to this version of the tale, Annalisa Netherly in room 311 died of a broken heart. Two things are common to both accounts. Annalisa Netherly's ghost still haunts room 311 and she dislikes men, especially smokers. Guests in room 311 frequently experience uncomfortable feelings of being watched, along with loud noises that keep them up all night. During the federal trial of Al Capone, another Chattanooga urban legend has it that the gangster stayed in room 311. The gangster never spoke of having an encounter with the Reed House's resident spirit. His case led to security bars being placed on the window of room 311. This was to prevent him from escaping. There are no longer any security bars in place today. As part of the 2004 renovations, they were removed. You cannot go wrong with the Reed House Hotel, formerly the old Crutchfield House, if you want to experience Chattanooga's haunted history. Among the famous personalities who have stayed in the hotel are Oprah Winfrey, Winston Churchill, Charles Lawton, Tallulah Bankhead, Gary Cooper, and many others. You can also meet Annalisa Netherly's ghost if you request room 311. Just remember that you do have to request that room at the Reed House Hotel, and book ahead if you've got your heart dead set on it.